This is my grandfather Walter, and he likes to read Reddit stories.
For the last 2 years, my wife and I have given our son's teachers Christmas and end-of-year gifts of $1,000 each to the teacher and the assistant. On the first day of school, we also give them a $500 Amazon gift card for their usage on classroom supplies as well. My wife writes a really nice thank you card and off it goes. She mentions something about, "We hope this helps take the little burden off running short of items for the kids." Her parents were both teachers, with her mum teaching kindergarten, so she saw how often she would purchase items for her classroom out of pocket. We can afford to do this, and it makes us really happy to help out. So this all happened yesterday. My son, 5 years old, was starting his first day of kindergarten. The 2 previous years he was at this school in pre-K 3 and pre-K 4, different teachers and aides each year. We dropped him off, and she hands the teacher an envelope with the Amazon gift card and a nice note wishing her a great first year as she was brand new at this school. What I believe happened is she got nervous. She couldn't accept this and went to the admins on how to proceed. No issue with that. Probably a sound idea. An admin contacted us in the afternoon to say we could no longer give this gift card anymore and to please discontinue the $1,000 gifts as well. A teacher from a previous year or another teacher altogether must have said something, but I can't imagine who, unless they didn't realize what was happening. All the previous teachers and aides, 4 women, have been over the moon over the thank you gifts. We've gotten such nice thank you cards, hugged before. One of the aides starting crying in appreciation with my wife, telling her how much it meant to her. So they clearly like the financial gifts. What's the problem here? They deserve every penny. Additionally, the school is always trying to raise funds from parents to assist in classroom activity costs. So, is $500 for markers, crayons, etc. not assistance for them to do as they wish? We think it's puzzling why we would need to stop the Amazon gift card, and think it's absolutely nobody else's business what we give at Christmas break and on the last day. It could be teachers discussing in the staff lounge and a bit of jealousy if you're not our child's teacher and you're learning multiple others have received the same gifts. Not sure. Would it be bad if we disregarded the admin and continued this practice, with next up being this Christmas? ATA 1. This is a private school that we pay for tuition, uniforms, books, in the future, etc. Apologies for not including this initially. Many of you mentioned laws regarding government employees. This does not apply here. 2. I mentioned in a couple of comments that we are not interested in giving the school a check for the $500 intended for supplies, or the $4,500 we spend annually. Aides get $1,000 as well. They work just as hard, sometimes harder, for a lower salary. The school tuition is one of the highest in the state, and there's a waiting list to get in. There is a highly ranked private HS nearby that this school is the feeder school for. My point is, they definitely do not need more parental assistance to fund classroom supplies, yet they still fundraise and ask periodically. I respectfully do not care about the other classes, I care about my son's class. If the admin told me their intention for our $4,500 this year is a new smart fridge in the teacher's lounge and better chairs for the office staff, I would respectfully rescind this money. I want the funds used for my child's classroom, and I want the bonus money for the staff and nothing else. Happy, well-treated, well-compensated, appreciated teachers do a much better job than the staff that feels like they're at war with parents and the school on both fronts. 3. With no disrespect, the people mentioning purposeful bribes are delusional. There are no tests in pre-K 3 or K 4. They're learning about numbers and word sounds. They have story time and nap time. They go out on the playground and do fun activities, outdoors 2x daily. There is nothing to bribe, even if that was our goal. 4. Having read many of the comments, we will omit future denomination gifts going forward in favour of a $25 gift card to some place local. We will ask the admins if we can provide the $500 to our specific classroom needs with their knowledge and oversight. If they decline, that's gone too. I'm very sad at this outcome. I remember being 17 as a busboy at a local restaurant. The waitstaff tipped us 10% of their total tips. Between that and my $4/HR, 1998, most long shifts were for $30-40. One day a couple came in, watched me work quietly and were impressed. Prior to leaving, they handed the girl $500 for doing a great job waiting on them, and me an additional $500. At the time it felt like life-changing money. My wife and I have been very fortunate over the years and do not want for anything. This felt like a nice opportunity to pay it forward, help someone have an extra terrific Christmas or summer. Many of you may not know just how little some staff at schools are paid. I received a DM about an hour ago from a woman thanking me, telling me she is a kindergarten aide at a private school and is paid $16, $50 HR, but only for the 10 months school is in session. Assuming her school pays full 8 HR days, her salary was between $26, $28K annually. You're telling me she couldn't use an additional $2,000 from a parent? This is just sad and unfortunate all around. Regardless, thank you all for reading and commenting. I've read almost every comment, and my wife and I will read them all later tonight as well. Regards. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. This is 100% not appropriate to start with, and to continue would also be inappropriate in addition to putting the teachers in a position of conflict, making their day worse, not better. I say this both as the child of 2 teachers and as a family who is very generous ourselves, but sometimes have to think about the recipient and how it impacts them. This amount of money feels like you're buying favor in addition to potentially making the teacher uncomfortable. Edit. We give Starbucks and Target cards of small amounts like $20 to about a dozen teachers over the holidays and year-end. The dollar amount is the issue. Comment 2. Yes, you would be the idiot. There's a difference between giving money to the school so that they can purchase items and giving an Amazon gift card that can be used for anything. We do end-of-the-year gifts in my country. I actually have a friend who teaches kindergarten, and she gets things like homemade cookies, homemade thank you cards, flowers. But Amazon gift cards with that amount of money at the beginning of the year sounds like you're trying to buy the teacher so that she favors your kid. Comment 3. At my kid's school, there is a $50 limit on any teacher gifts. However, they have an online system at the holidays where you can select what teacher and what amount you would like to donate, and the teachers get a cash gift that is from all of the parents that agreed to donate, without individualized amounts. I think compensating teachers is important, but the appearance of favoritism is tough. Try to talk to admin about group class donations. Now, for the next story. I have been babysitting my niece since she was about 3 to 4 months old. She's now 2 years old. At first, I was babysitting her as a way of paying back the debt that I owed to my sister, but since that debt is now paid for, I have since only been paid about once, maybe twice. My sister works at night from 8 p.m. to 6:30 a.m., and my brother-in-law works from 12 p.m. to sometimes 10:30 or midnight, with times where he doesn't get off until 1 a.m. I myself am a college student and have been out of work for about almost 2 years, at the end of this month due to my health. I'm now starting to look for a job, but I am on Social Security Administration SSA, which doesn't give enough for my monthly expenses. My husband has expressed the need to sit down and talk to them about getting paid for babysitting my niece. I also recently found out that they're expecting another child and have been discussing how I will babysit their next child as well. Recently, I have been struggling to make ends meet. My husband and I need to move out of our mobile home that we've been sharing with his roommate, and as you all can see, rent isn't cheap anywhere we have looked. I started looking for part-time jobs that will be easy on my health, but I chose not to be a burden on jobs since my health is still a little bit on the more serious side. I approached my sister with this, and we came to an agreement of $100 a week, which I thought was reasonable since I only watch my niece 2 days out of the week. However, both of them have failed to make payment. I've only seen it once since she started her new job. The other night, my brother-in-law asked if I could babysit the next day again. It was the same day I talked to my sister, and I told her I couldn't keep babysitting due to having to look for a job if they couldn't pay me. I then called her 30 minutes later to ask her what time they need me there, and she proceeded to ask me if $25 a day was okay. Am I the idiot for telling her I will no longer be able to babysit for her after this Sunday? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1, $25 a day. Lord have mercy, here you'd be laughed out if you didn't pay at least $13 an hour for regular favour babysitting, and no respectable semi-professional babysitter would settle for less than $20 an hour. They are ripping you off and taking advantage of your naivety and kind heart, not the idiot. Comment 2, not the idiot. Babysitting is hard work, and you deserve to be paid appropriately. There is an old saying, never look a gift horse in the mouth, which is exactly what your sister and brother-in-law did by not paying you the agreed-upon amount. Wait until they see what others are charging. Comment 3. I don't know where you are, but in the US, the going rate is $16, $25 per hour. So yes, you are being taken advantage of. Just try and get a job. Even part-time would pay you way more than your sister is willing to pay you. Now, for the next story. My boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years. 2 years ago, he proposed to me. The proposal was very spontaneous and in a public place with some of our family and friends around. Because of the spontaneity, he didn't have a ring. I didn't care and was so happy to say yes because I love him. Afterwards, he said he would get me a ring and I agreed, as I told him it would be a symbol he is serious about marrying me. I sent him a couple of rings that were around the $400 mark, but I've told him so many times I don't care if it's something from the thrift store, as it's not about the cost to me, but about the symbolic gesture. Over the last 2 years, I've watched him spend hundreds of dollars on lots of nights out with friends, drugs, clothes, etc., and he still hasn't bought me a ring. He calls me his fiancé all the time and often corrects me if I call him boyfriend and not fiancé. I still want to be with him, but I don't want to call each other fiancés anymore and say that we are engaged. I know he'll be upset if I tell him this, and I know it's just over a material possession, but it still makes me feel sad and embarrassed he hasn't bought me a ring of any kind. Am I the idiot? Comment 1. Listen to me very carefully. I married a man like this, a man who proposed without a ring. I said yes, and then proceeded to not make getting me a ring, that he promised me he would get a priority. At all. And if I was asking for a huge rock maybe, but like you, I just wanted something small and pretty, a garnet in white gold. 4 years I waited, and when he finally did, it was a shut-up ring and was thrown in my face every chance he got. He has told you who he is, believe him. Comment 2. I think you should call off your engagement, not because he hasn't gotten you a ring, but because he promised to get you a ring and broke his promise. In other words, he lied to you. That is something worthy of breaking an engagement for. It's not over a material possession at all. He doesn't sound at all serious about this engagement anyway. I think you're wasting your time with him, TBH. Comment 3. He's the AH. You deserve better. If he's putting drugs before you now, it will only get worse. Also, this is not over a material possession. It is symbolic and prescient. Spontaneity is fun, but for a marriage, you need consistency and diligence, because it will not always be butterflies and rainbows. Now, for the next story. I, 40 years old female, and my husband, 43 years old male, have had a lot of problems for the last several years, culminating in our separation in June. His parents have mistreated me almost since the beginning of our relationship. It's way too much to list off here, but my mother-in-law has put her hands on me in front of my then-toddler. They have threatened to have me committed to a mental hospital, thrown in jail. I'm unstable because I don't tolerate their ugliness and verbal abuse, and threatened to have our children removed from our home. The couple of times I have convinced him to go no contact for a time. My mother-in-law tried to guilt-trip my 11-year-old after she came to us to say that Grandma was making her uncomfortable. I've been with him for 13 years, married for 11 years. I know that a lot of it is my fault because I was too permissive in the beginning and didn't have very good boundaries. I've been in therapy for 7 years now and have gained a lot of self-esteem and self-worth. I'm establishing my boundaries and trying not to let things slide like I have in the past. One of our many issues was the fact that he never stood up for me. He has only very recently started doing so, since we've been separated. When we separated, his dad said he was going to hire a lawyer to take custody of our kids, 11, 10, almost 2, and his mother told our 11-year-old that I attacked them with a knife. Never happened. And that I was a bad mom and the kids didn't need to be around me. I've told my husband that if we are going to work on our marriage and stay together, he has to cut off all contact with them. He says it's not fair to make him choose, and he can't see why he can't have a relationship with them. I feel that with him continuing to have a relationship with them, he is basically condoning their behavior. He doesn't see it that way and says that I'm being awful and unfair for making him choose. Am I out of line or am I justified? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Ask him why he even wants a relationship with anyone who would abuse his wife and lie to his children. He won't have a satisfactory answer because there isn't one. So if he sticks to his decision, then you know he's not safe to go back to. Hopefully you can get full custody so your kids aren't exposed to their toxicity. Comment 2. Not the idiot crazy seems like a tough spot. If I can make a suggestion, I'd think about altering your request and let him have his relationship with his parents. But the kids and you go no contact, as they have proven to be manipulative and will lie to your kids. Protect those who need protecting. He'll see it eventually. Good luck. Comment 3. Not the idiot. They have proven to be an active threat to you and your ability to parent your children. He should want them gone. If they stay in your life, they will try to take away his children's mother. That's unacceptable. Now, for the next story. My daughter, 40 years old, has been in an abusive marriage for nearly 20 years. She was finally ready to leave, so I helped her find a place near me to help with her 4 children. Age 16-year-old, 14-year-old, 10-year-old, 6-year-old. I also loaned her $5,000 for a divorce lawyer, since she has limited income, until she starts getting child support alimony. She works during the day and her husband works night shift, so they split the children accordingly. My daughter is in charge of them during the evenings and on days she doesn't work. Daughter has not even had her first divorce hearing yet. 5 days ago, I logged into Facebook and some random man had posted that he was in a relationship with my daughter. Then he posted cozy photos of them snuggling up. His friends asked, "Is this one going to work out?" indicating to me that he has a reputation. My daughter quickly untagged herself from his posts. My son-in-law, SIL, messaged me a day later and told me that I need to have a talk with my daughter. He knows the man and said he just got out of jail for beating his previous girlfriend. My son also knows the guy and said he is a pios that was in jail, had 5 children with 4 baby mamas and is bad news. I have not been able to confirm any of that. Fast forward to 2 days ago when my sister-in-law messaged to ask if I could get his 14-year-old daughter out of the house. Apparently my daughter waited for her children to be dropped off the night before, and once they were settled in, she went out partying with her boyfriend. At 11 p.m, the 2 smaller children called their dad and said they were afraid because their mum was not there. She had left the 16 and 14-year-old to watch the 2 younger children. Sister-in-law picked up the 2 younger children. He had to call off work. The older 2 stayed. My 14-year-old granddaughter, GD, fell asleep in her mum's bed because her bed had a bunch of school stuff on it and she didn't feel like moving it. When GD got up to go to school the next morning, her mother and boyfriend were naked and passed out in her GD's bed. GD had never seen the guy before either. GD was afraid to go in and get her stuff, so she just sat and waited for them to wake up. Finally, an hour after she was supposed to catch the bus, she told her dad, who asked me to go get her so she could go to school. I walked over, GD let me in, and I marched up to where my D and her boyfriend were still passed out in GD's bed. I yelled for D to get her ass out of bed and be a mother. The boyfriend pretended to be asleep the whole time. I also told my daughter how angry I was that she is ruining her chances for alimony and going to lose her children by leaving them home alone to party. I got my GD's things and left with her. After my daughter woke up properly, she told me how embarrassed she was at the way I acted. She also told her sister about how I let myself into her home and yelled at her in front of the new boyfriend, so my other daughter is upset with me too. First of all, she needed yelling at. Secondly, GD let me in after asking someone to get her. Am I the AH for going to get my GD when she asked to be rescued and taking the time to let my feelings be known while I was at it? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Tell your other daughter what actually happened, and then tell her that it is truly none of her business. Then tell your daughter that as she has the money to party, she has the money to pay for her divorce, and that you expect her to pay you the $5,000 back by the end of the month, and that if she doesn't sort her stuff out, that you will be telling the truth to her husband's divorce attorney, and she will lose alimony and custody of her kids because her behavior, actions, and the company she is keeping are proof that she is not a fit mother. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Was the soon-to-be ex-son-in-law really abusive towards her? After reading what your daughter did, I doubt that she was Mother of the Year to your grandchildren before the divorce was filed. Both your son and your soon-to-be ex-son-in-law know that the guy your daughter is seeing is bad news. This guy isn't safe to be anywhere around your grandchildren. And who would have sex with a complete stranger on their own child's bed? Comment 3. So, she's embarrassed about being yelled at in front of her loser boyfriend, but not embarrassed that she's being a pos mother? Not the idiot and good for you for not turning a blind eye to her behavior? If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.